Hey guys, this is hopefully going to be a quick-ish review of a book that I just finished for book club called If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. Also, I got fancy for book club, so I've been trying to get this eye look sorted for ages. It's not 100% right, but I really love it. And actually, it looks even better than I thought. Except my lower lash line, because it turns out that when you smudge a lower lash line and you're a squinty person, all that happens is it keeps going, because then all that happens is it just looks like you've been just crying. I have not figured out how to deal with that yet. I'm wondering if, like, I need a legit makeup setting spray, if maybe that would help. I don't know. So, where did I put my phone? I don't know. But I do have Starbucks coffee. It's good. Oh, wait. Let me move some shit. Moving some shit out of the way. Shit out of the way. And then if I move everything a little bit. Candle. This is Charmed Aroma's Berry Kisses. The ring is already out, but the candle smells delightful, and I haven't seen that part of my desk properly in probably about a month. There we go. Now I'm ready to talk to the internet. I don't know where in, because right now I'm working through, I have loads of videos that are uploaded. They are all private, and I'm working through the list. So essentially I have most of a year's worth of pre-recorded videos, because I get in kicks where I have time. I'm sorry, I have a really itchy ankle. I get into periods of time where I'm filming, and I really like filming, and it's sort of the weird thing where it shouldn't be like a big thing because I don't edit, and I don't necessarily always film in a regular way, and I don't like to film when people are home because it's awkward, and so I film a bunch, and then I put them online, and then I never make them public. Because I'm like, all I really essentially have to do is choose a thumbnail that is not sucky. Sometimes I even take a real picture for it, and I use that. Not usually. But in this particular instance, that's going to happen. I assume that, like, I'll pick a thumbnail that looks coquettish and appealing. Maybe this here. This face. But yeah, so there's going to be loads of videos up before this is up. I'm actually filming this in June. I suspect, looking at the videos, that I've got this should go up somewhere in November. So hi future self and future people. Do we have hoverboards yet? No? Just those weird things with wheels that are not hoverboards, and they're live? Well, I'm disappointed in us. I was promised hoverboards. And at least those Nikes that tie themselves. Which, to be fair, they're making, but then there's only going to be like a limited amount of those. Not every schmo is going to get a pair. I want a pair. I don't want to fucking tie my shoes anymore. The book. So it's written by Meredith Russo, who is herself a trans lady, and she even says in the epilogue, so I'm gonna point this out first, that when she was writing the book, she made it, I don't want to say easier for Amanda, because it certainly isn't 100% easy through all of her travels, but she certainly streamlined the process. She allowed hormones sooner than they would have been allowed. She allowed surgery pretty much on her 18th birthday. Everything to make it as accessible as possible. Not just for Amanda in the sense of the story, but for everybody that's reading the story. So we get to learn about Amanda, who was born Andrew, and the journey that she goes through and some of her struggles. And it's really, it's amazing. As we were all talking about the book tonight, I think we're all falling on the same feeling where it felt like every other sort of like teen romance, which was wonderful. And I think one of the things that I really liked about the book, when I was reading it, I was like, it sounds really stupid. It sounds really, really stupid, and I'm sure kind of close-minded, but I'll be honest. It's hard for me as a cis-norm woman. I was born a woman. I am a woman. I'm comfortable as a woman. I mean, I'm not always 100% comfortable with the size of woman I am, or the shape of woman I'm in, or the age of the woman I am. But I couldn't imagine not being a woman. Like, it just, when I think of me the woman. And a girlfriend of mine put it right. Intellectually, I almost get it. But like, for me, it is just so inaccessible because it's so different from the person that I am and the journey that I'm on. And I think that's what I've really enjoyed about several of the books that I've read this year, that they have been so different from who I am and where I am in the world. And yet there was so much of Amanda's journey that was very familiar. You know, that being a teenage girl and not knowing and having to learn how to do your makeup. You know, it's something that I think I've talked about on this channel many times, that I wanted to be girly. I wanted to know how to do makeup. And it was something that I wasn't taught by my mom. What I know how to do, however good or bad you might think it looks, I learned because of YouTube, which is only an invent of 2006, I think we all forget. And, oh, Mocha, I should put you on ice, and then I should bathe in you. And that's hard. That is, I cannot even imagine how it would be realizing why you don't feel right in yourself. Realizing what you have to do to get right with yourself. But then becoming a woman, depending on who you are, how you interpret being a woman, the kind of woman that you want to be. Do you want to be just like, you know, like whatever, you know, girl next door, doesn't really wear any makeup, comfy clothes all the time kind of girl? Do you want to be, you know, a glamazon? Is that what you want to do? Or not what you want to do, but is that who you are as a person? Is that behind? Oh, it's just a window. So it was really interesting to see that the bits that were, I think, maybe a bit of Meredith herself talking through it, you know? Like, because I cannot even imagine, and especially when we have so many beauty standards to aspire to, you know, are you thin enough? Are you curvy enough? Are you eating enough but not looking like you're eating too much? because nobody wants to be the girl with the eating disorder, but nobody wants people to think that you eat. You know, are you looking presentable enough, but not high maintenance? But you want to take care of yourself, but not too much. You don't want people to know that you're taking care of yourself. You know, you would want to look, you just naturally look like this, but you don't want to look like you're wearing makeup. Like, how many videos online are literally no makeup, and you're like, you bitch, you just used more products than I use when I'm doing, and I use a lot. This is a lot of stuff. Anyway, it was really cool. It was an amazing read, and it made a concept really accessible to me in a way that I didn't expect, because it was just the narrative of the teenage girl, just one more time. You know, it was all the classic tropes, and I think that I really liked it because of that. Because it felt so familiar, and it should have. Because, of course, a trans girl always was a girl. She's just never got to be a girl in the way that everybody else gets to see it until now. And I think that was amazing. I think it was a really good book. Some arguments about the grammatical correctness of the title. And that's fine. It was hard to believe some of it because it was set in the South, and of course, stereotypically, we don't think of people in the South as being necessarily very accepting and forgiving. But it was good. It was really good. There were some bits that, like, bothered me, but I think they would have bothered me if this had been a book about a teenage girl who had always been a girl, or who wasn't trans, if that makes sense. I don't think there's any way that I can say this better. Anyway, it was beautifully written. I laughed, I cried. Mostly I laughed. There were some really good funny bits. And it was a really great read, and I really recommend it. I'm probably gonna see if I can get my mom to read it, because because my mom has been watching, like, the Caitlyn Jenner reality show, and it's definitely been a dialogue that, you know, has opened up for her, where, you know, it's okay if you don't get it. It's okay. You don't have to get it. It's not about you. You know, and I think that there are a lot of people where this is something that we're all curious about. Because I think for a lot of us, it's so other, and then for a good portion of people, I think it's going to be that's what's wrong. So, I mean, I'm not saying this is the be-all and end-all and, like, the Bible of this is absolutely what trans is like. You know, this is a very, very washed out version. Very, very easy. She still goes through some rough times. She still goes through some discrimination and some violence and some very big emotional disturbances because of having to deal with it and figuring out how things work. But it was still, I think there was enough meat to it there, that if it's somebody who you know, that they're still sort of, like, figuring out how things are, and they want to learn a little bit more, I think it might be a good, like, dip in the toe in the water sort of a thing. So yeah, I think it was a really good book. I really appreciate that it was written by a trans woman, and I think what I really liked the most was, even while I was reading it, I was like, you know, this would be really great. I just wish it was written by a trans woman because I would really like to know, you know, how that voice differs. And I didn't realize that Meredith Russo was until the epilogue, and she straight out said it, and I was like, and it hit me. It was like, huh, because that voice is so familiar. Teenage me definitely related so much, and it's an eye-opener. That's an eye-opener. But without smacking me in the face. Because I think sometimes, not that we... I think sometimes it can be really hard when things are just too direct and too, like, just in your face, like, there's a book I read a couple years ago for this same book club called it was like the Knitters Rapist Annihilation Squad. And essentially, it was a knitting circle where several women had experienced rape. They had all experienced sexual violence in some way. And they just went around murdering all the men with knitting needles. And it essentially was like, all men are rapists except men who ask every single time if they may kiss you, and that is how it should be. And there was this one guy who would literally, that's what he would do. He would ask, and he would be like, may I kiss whatever? Are you actually, I don't want to pressure you, you know. And he was like, he was held up as the ideal, and the only other man that wasn't a huge rapist in the book was also stupid and couldn't follow instructions. And I think it's really hard to sort of present, like, this is a thing, and this is okay, and not have it be, but this is, you know, like, without just, like, smacking a bunch of stereotypes around. And I think there were some really great characters. They definitely fit the boxes of teen drama. You know, you had, like, the super pure religious girl, and you had the girl who was really into sports, so obviously she was a lesbian. You had the rich girl, so she knew everything about fashion. And then you had the new girl, but then everybody loved her, and she got to be homecoming queen, like that ever happens. You know, so it was good. It was good. Yeah, and you also got to see her dad come around very quickly. So, you know, it didn't take like 30 years for him to figure shit out. Like, I feel a lot of parents who are, like, initially resistant can take a long, long time. The parents were just really accepting and just trying really, really hard, you know. I feel like it must be really hard for parents, because maybe they don't know how to deal with it. I think some parents must take it just completely in stride, you know. And I think with a lot of people, maybe now that things are maybe a little, I don't know. What do I know? I mean, I'm just a girl, and I've always been a girl. I always will be a girl. Like, it was just, I'm just a straight white female. Like, I've got, and when I was coming from a place where I personally had, like, no markers for any of it, it was a good starting point for reading. It's a topic that I've been interested in for years because it is so other to my experience in life, and it's really hard to be interested in the topic and not feel like, you know, like you're trying to find tickets for the freak show, if that makes sense. Please don't be offended. But to fetishize, I think, maybe is the right, but not sexually. But I think it's hard to figure out where that line of, like, it's okay to be curious about this, it's not okay to be curious about this. it's a really interesting topic, and I think there's this whole scope that people would like to know about, and it's really hard because you want to ask somebody something, because it's like, it's such a big thing. But then, like, how do you ask them without it being really, really fucking rude? And so this book answered a lot of questions, like, what is it okay to ask? What is not okay to ask? What is the correct way to go with the pronouns? And, you know, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. It was really good. It was really good, and I think it would be really great for teenagers because, like, they're probably at some point going to encounter at least one trans person, and, you know, they should have, like, a baseline of, like, this is the polite way to be, because sometimes I think we get excited and confused and we forget. And so maybe we need this baseline to work off of, like, you may ask these 5 approved questions. If you see this question about somebody's junk, you don't have a right to know about somebody's junk. Yeah. I don't know. It was good. It was a good book. It's well written. I liked it. I recommend it. Next up on the book club list is Meaty, which I've literally just started reading a few minutes ago. And so far it's really good. Very sweary, which I like. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I talked for, oh god, 20 minutes. Oh, well, no, that sounds about right for me. Thank you, and I'll talk to you guys soon.